With efficient and aggressive testing, India crosses 3 crore COVID-19 tests, over 7 lakh tests conducted in the last 24 hours. The COVID-19 case fatality rate in India further improves to a new low of 1.92%. Recovery rate crosses 72.5%. Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari to virtually lay the foundation stone for 13 highway projects and inaugurate a road safety project in Manipur today. Better and improved road connectivity will bring about development in the areas which are not well connected with the national highways. In another big relief, the high-speed mobile data service is restored in Gandurbal and Udhampur in Jammu and Kashmir on a trial basis for postpaid customers from 9 at night last night to 8 September. In rest of the districts, internet speed shall continue to be restricted to 2G only. India and Nepal to hold a meeting today in Kathmandu to review the ongoing bilateral economic and development projects. The Indian envoy to Nepal, Vinay Mohan Quatra, to lead the Indian side, while the Nepalese Foreign Secretary Shankar Das Bairagi will lead the Nepal side during the talks. The flood situation in Bihar remains grim, with over 81 lakh people in 16 districts still affected. 25 people killed in the floods and related incidents so far. Darbhanga is the worst affected district. The national and state agencies engaged in relief and rescue work. Light to moderate rain forecast over the next 2 days. In international news, the New Zealand Prime Minister postpones the general elections by 4 weeks to 17th October due to a fresh COVID-19 outbreak. The election, early scheduled to be held on 19th September, postponed amidst resurgence of the COVID-19 infections in his biggest city, Auckland. In sports news, Sevilla edges past Manchester United 2-1 in the semi-finals to book ticket to final of the Europa League. Sevilla will meet either Inter Milan or Shakhtar Donetsk in the final in Cologne on Friday. Hello and good morning. You're watching Doordarshan News with me, Nancy Kohli. Our top story: India is gaining momentum in the war against COVID-19 as it continues to fight the virus vigorously. And with efficient and aggressive testing, India has exceeded the 3 crore COVID-19 tests. 3,41,400 samples have been tested so far. 7,31,697 tests were done in the last 24 hours. India is in a much better position in many ways than all other countries, with its continuous increase in the recovery rate and reduced fatality rate. In its COVID-19 case fatality rate, India has one of the lowest mortality rates globally and now stands at 1.92%. India's recovery rate has crossed 72.5%, ensuring more and more patients are recovering. 57,584 have recovered and been discharged in the past 24 hours. And with this, the total recovered COVID-19 patients has increased to more than 19 lakh now. The current active cases now stand at 6,76,900 in the country. And let's now go across to our correspondent Nitendra Singh, who's been keeping a track of developments on that front. Nitendra, good morning. Good news once again coming in as far as the fight against COVID-19 in the country is going on. And we are in fact, unprecedented stats are in fact showing that recovery rate is improving, the case fatality rate has gone down, and it's all because of aggressive and efficient, tracking, testing and treating. The 3 T's that are very important.
यस नैंसी, निश्चित तौर पे जो टेस्टिंग की, ट्रेस की और ट्रीटमेंट की पॉलिसी सरकार ने अपनाई है, उसका रिजल्ट अब दिख रहा है। और रिजल्ट ये दिख रहा है कि लोग जल्दी से जल्दी टेस्ट करा पा रहे हैं और उनका इलाज समय पे हो पा रहा है। और जो रिकवरी रेट है वो बढ़ता जा रहा है, और फर्टिलिटी रेट वो कम होता जा रहा है, 2.2% से नीचे आता जा रहा है। इसके अलावा जो जब आप समय पर टेस्टिंग करते हैं तो जो इन्फेक्शन है, इन्फेक्शन की जो रेट है वो कम होती है, एक दूसरे से जो जो संक्रमण फैलने का खतरा रहता है वो कम होता है। इसके अलावा जो आइसोलेशन में आदमी जाता है और या हॉस्पिटल में जाता है जहां पर समय पर उनका इलाज हो पाता है, और भारत ने लगातार टेस्टिंग कैपेसिटी को बढ़ाया है। एवरी डे 7 लाख, करीब 7 लाख टेस्टिंग हो रहा है, 3 करोड़ से अधिक टेस्टिंग अब तक सैंपल के हो चुके हैं। इसके अलावा भारत सरकार का जो लक्ष्य है, टारगेट है कि एवरी डे 3 लाख सैंपल की टेस्टिंग हो, आने वाले अगले कुछ दिनों में होगा। तो निश्चित तौर पे जितना टेस्ट होगा उतनी जल्दी बीमारी की पहचान होगी और उसकी
Absolutely.
इलाज हो पाएगा।
Absolutely. Thanks, Nitendra, very much for joining us and sharing all those inputs. Of course, the strategy of testing, tracking and treating efficiently and aggressively has borne results, and in fact is proving to be very effective when it comes to battling COVID-19 pandemic in India is concerned. And moving on now, the Tamil Nadu government has announced that the stand-alone state-run liquor shops located within the Chennai city limits can open from tomorrow. The shops will be allowed to do business between 10 in the morning till 7 in the evening. However, the shops inside malls and inside the containment zones will continue to remain shut. The sale of liquor will be limited to 500 tokens per shop per day. All those visiting the liquor shops will have to wear face masks and follow physical distancing rules as mandated by the government. The shops will not function on Sundays when Tamil Nadu goes into complete lockdown. After a 75-day lockdown, these shops in the state located outside the Chennai city limits were allowed to open from the 7th of May. And the Mizoram government has imposed a 4-day complete lockdown in the Aizawl Municipal Corporation area to curb the spread of COVID-19. The lockdown came into effect from Sunday midnight and will remain in force till 4:30 early morning on 21st of August. The decision in this regard was taken during a meeting chaired by the State Health Minister. He said a massive secondary contact tracing exercise will be launched and frontline workers will be tested during the lockdown period. Besides that, the random sampling will also be done. Mizoram, remember, has registered its highest single-day spike of 64 COVID-19 cases yesterday. The northeastern states' caseload has risen to 777, of which 406 cases are active, while 371 people have been cured of the virus. A total of 49 local transmission cases have been reported in the state so far. And COVID-19 infection may have a severe impact on those having comorbid conditions. Our correspondent Kiran Bhardwaj spoke with Dr. Uma Kumar about the precautions to be taken by the people suffering from rheumatological illnesses in regard to COVID-19. Listen in.
Coronavirus can infect anyone, but those at the high-risk group are more prone to develop severity if they get infected. How does COVID-19 affect the people suffering from rheumatological illnesses? Let's find out from Dr. Uma Kumar. Dr. Uma, the people who are suffering from any kind of rheumatological illness, are they more prone to develop severity if they get infected from COVID-19?
Coronavirus infection is supposed to be more severe in individuals who have associated comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension, coronary artery disease, etc. But fortunately, in patients who have chronic rheumatological illnesses, coronavirus infection has not found to be severe. I mean, that is what the current data says. And we also know that the severity of infection or severity of coronavirus illness depends on the amount of inflammatory response a particular patient mounts against the virus. Possibly our drugs, anti-rheumatic drugs, they are helping these patients by not letting the body mount the severe inflammatory response against this virus. And as you know that many of these drugs are being tried in coronavirus infection.
What precautionary measures should be taken to reduce the risk of COVID-19 infection?
I would like to advise patients with rheumatic diseases to follow hand hygiene, to maintain social distancing, to use mask while going out of the house. I'll ask them not to stop drugs which they are taking for their arthritis. They must continue their physical activity. It's better to practice yoga, to have good night's sleep, have healthy diet, and not to watch or engage themselves in negative news which is coming every day about coronavirus infection, and be positive.
Be cautious and follow all the precautions. This will help to reduce the risk of COVID-19 infection. Kiran Bharadwaj, DD News.
In a bid to provide better connectivity in the northeastern state, the Union Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari and Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh will today lay the foundation stone for 13 highway projects. A road safety project will also be inaugurated on the occasion. These projects are for the construction of 316 kilometers of the highways, which will enhance better connectivity, convenience and economic growth of the state. Out of 13 highway projects include the 4-laning of Imphal-More section of National Highway 102, widening to 2-lane with hard shoulder of Chura-Chandpur to Tuwai section of National Highway 102B, widening and strengthening to 2-laning with hard shoulder of Palel-Chandel section of National Highway 102C, widening and improvement to 2-lane with earthen shoulder of Yangong-Pokpi Finch corner section of National Highway 202, and the construction of More bypass to 2-lane with paved shoulder. Apart from this, the restoration and rehabilitation of road on National Highway 102A and the road safety work through improvement of junctions, footover bridge, footpath, road signs and marking of National Highway 150 and National Highway 39 will also be done in this project. And in some good news for the people of Jammu and Kashmir who can now access the 4G mobile internet services, the J&K administration has restored the 4G mobile internet services in Gandurbal district in Kashmir and Udhampur in Jammu region. The high-speed mobile data services was restored on a trial basis from last evening for the postpaid SIM card holders. According to the order issued by the J&K Home Department, the trial period that began at 9 at night will stay in force till the 8th of next month unless it is modified earlier. The internet speed, however, in other districts of the Union Territory shall continue to be restricted to 2G internet speed only. The central government had during the hearing in the Supreme Court recently submitted that the committee set up to review the restoration of the 4G internet services in Jammu and Kashmir is considering to allow the same in one district each of Jammu and Kashmir divisions on a trial basis.
फोर जी जो इंटरनेट सर्विसेज है वो ऑन हो चुकी हैं। इससे हमें बहुत खुशी हुई कि हमारा ये 4G जो था वो ऑन हो गया। 1 साल से भी ज़्यादा हो गया था बंद होने को, तो ये हमारी पढ़ाई में भी बहुत काम आएगा। जैसे कि अभी कोरोना वायरस पैंडेमिक के थ्रू हम ऑनलाइन क्लासेस नहीं दे पाते थे, इसके थ्रू हम अब ऑनलाइन क्लासेस भी इजीली दे पाएंगे।
जम्मू कश्मीर की 2 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में, एक उधमपुर में और एक गांदरबल में जो है 4G इंटरनेट सर्विसेज को रिस्टोर कर दिया गया है। सबसे बड़ी मुबारकबाद स्टूडेंट तबके को और टीचर तबके को है, क्योंकि एक सोर्स था कि टीचर्स ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन के माध्यम से अपना जितना भी ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन का सेटअप है वो थ्रू जूम या व्हाट्सएप या माइक्रोसॉफ्ट वेब मीटिंग से जो है अपने स्टूडेंट्स के तक पहुंचाते थे। तो मुझे लगता है कि कई ऐसी चीज़ें थी जो हमारे स्टूडेंट्स तक नहीं पहुंच पाती थी ड्यू टू 2G सर्विसेज, और मैं होप करता हूं कि इस बेटर इंटरनेट स्पीड से जितना भी उनका एजुकेशन का जो डेफिशिएट था वो रिकवर हो जाएगा।
जस्ट हमें यहाँ पे इंफॉर्मेशन मिली कि यहाँ पे 4G शुरू हो गया हुआ है हमारे उधमपुर में, तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा खुशी हुई जब मैंने अपना फ़ोन अपना ओपन किया। तो वहाँ पे जो हमारी साइट्स पहले नहीं खुल पा रही थी, एक्चुअली मैं अभी ग्रेजुएशन मैंने कंप्लीट की और फॉर्म फिल करने में काफ़ी दिक्कत होती थी हमें, लेकिन अब जो है मैं साइट भी यहाँ से खुल पा रही है। तो हम गवर्नमेंट से यही उम्मीद करते हैं कि अब ये ट्रायल बेसिस पे इन्होंने नेट शुरू किया है इसको कंटिन्यू ही रखें और इसे बंद ना करें, यही हम उम्मीद करते हैं।
Moving on now, India and Nepal are going to be holding bilateral meeting to oversee the developmental projects. The Indian ambassador in Kathmandu, Vinay Mohan Quatra, will head the Indian side, while Nepal's Foreign Secretary Shankar Das Bairagi will be leading the Nepalese team during the talks. The India-Nepal Oversight Mechanism was set up after the state visit to India by the then Prime Minister of Nepal, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, in September 2016. The idea was to regularly oversee the implementation of the bilateral developmental projects and ensure their timely completion. This will be the 8th such meeting in the last 4 years since the mechanism was established. And let's now go across to our correspondent Abhishek Jha, who is keeping a track of developments on that front. Abhishek, that meeting is going to be beginning at 10, and of course that's Nepal time, and of course continue till 12 noon. And talking about the agenda of this important meeting that has been going on between both the sides as far as reviewing developmental projects is concerned.
Okay, Nancy. So there are too many projects that India is assisting and aiding in development of Nepal. Many of them, these projects are directly related with connectivity issues. We know that Nepal is a landlocked country. So in the last visit, Prime Minister also said to Nepal, Prime Minister Modi had said that India would assist Nepal in getting access to waterways. And there has been a dedicated project that has been assigned for that access for Nepal to have waterways of India, and so that Nepal can also contribute and escalate its export to other countries through the waterways that India can provide to Nepal. Then there are projects, railway projects, at least 6 to 8 railway connectivity projects are in pipeline, and there, on so many of them, the construction project is also on. And these projects links neighboring Nepal districts with neighboring Indian districts in Bihar, Bengal, and other adjoining and bordering states. And apart from these two development projects, there are also bus services that connects India and Nepal. There was this petroleum pipeline project which was almost finished at the time of within the stipulated time. So there are so many development projects that India is assisting in Nepal, and this whole overseeing mechanism is a step in that direction to review the progresses made in the past and ensure that these are completed within the stipulated time frame that was desired.
All right, Abhishek, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and sharing those inputs. And in some other news now, the Legislative Assembly elections will be held in October-November in Bihar. The Rashtriya Janata Dal has expelled its 3 MLAs from the party, while the ruling JDU has dismissed Industries Minister of Bihar, Sham Razak. The General Secretary of the RJD, Alok Kumar Mehta, said that the party has blown out all its MLAs for 6 years. The expelled members include Gaighat MLA Maheshwar Prasad Yadav, Patipur MLA Prema Chaudhary, and Kevati MLA Faraj Fatmi. All 3 of them have been expelled on the orders of the National President Lalu Yadav. Faraz Fatmi is the son of former Union Minister Ali Ashraf Fatmi. On the advice of Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, Governor has also approved the decision to expel State's Industries Minister Sham Razak from the cabinet immediately. There are rumours that Sham Razak may join the RJD. An update now on the flood situation from the state. Well, there's been no significant change in the flood situation of Bihar, although the water level of the most rivers flowing in the state is either receding or stable. According to the Disaster Management Department, a population of 81,44,000 spread over 1,310 panchayats in 130 blocks of 16 districts is reeling under floods of various rivers and its tributaries. 25 people have lost their lives in the flood-related incidents so far. Among them, 11 people have died in Darbhanga, 6 in Muzaffarpur, 4 in West Champaran, 3 in Madhubani, 2 in Saran, and 1 each in Samastipur and Saharsa. The Met Department has predicted light to moderate rainfall in Bihar for the next 2 days. 10 relief camps are also being run in the flood-affected areas in which more than 12,000 people are living. Apart from that, cooked food is also being provided to more than 5,85,000 people through 723 community kitchens. Now, for the monsoon session of Parliament, Rajya Sabha chairman has ordered the House to be prepared by the end of the 3rd week of August in accordance with the rules of the COVID-19, and for the first time due to the COVID-19 pandemic, new arrangements like large display screens in the House, the virus consoles for participation from the galleries, ultraviolet disinfection radiation system, special cables between the 2 houses, and to create distance with polycarbonate separators have been asked to prepare. Preparations are also in full swing as per the directions of the chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu. About 60 members will sit inside, which will include the leader of the House, the leader of the opposition, and the leaders of different parties. 51 members each will sit in different galleries. Apart from that, special cables are also being laid to establish the conversation between the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. while a limited number of seating arrangements are being made for media and the Secretariat. The chairman has also directed that arrangements should be made accordingly so that members have to make minimum physical movement for their work. Now, due to intermittent rainfall in several parts of Maharashtra, the water levels in various reservoirs of the state received huge inflows of water and are on the verge of overflowing. The administration in respective districts are on a high alert to ward off any hazard due to flooding. The incessant rains in Sangli since last 3 days has led to the rise in water level in Krishna River. Due to surge in the water level, the people residing on the riverine have been shifted to safer locations by the local authorities. 46 dams have gone underwater. Gagan, Changdar and Ajra talukas have received heavy rainfall. In Gujarat, 2 cars collided on the Ahmedabad-Vadodara National Highway 8, killing 5 people and leaving about 4 others injured. The injured were admitted to civil hospital in Nadiad. 5 deaths, including 1 male, 2 children and 2 women, were reported when they were on their way from Anand to Ahmedabad. A fire brigade rescue team reached the accident spot as soon as the incident was reported and carried out the rescue of the people trapped inside and also the mortal remains of the people who lost their lives in the accident. And in the national capital, Delhi's Mori Gate area, the Kucha Motar Khan area, nearly a dozen armed miscreants fired indiscriminately and vandalized automobiles, autos, bikes, scooters and cars. The incident took place around midnight. They even entered many houses and beat the kids and girls. People are in huge numbers and they are all in panic because of the incident of sabotage. The police immediately took action and reached the spot as they got the information. The police is investigating the entire matter and are also looking into the CCTV footage. At present, the police has begun investigating the entire matter with regard to the incident. Moving on now, taking a look at the updates on COVID-19 from across the world. The virus has so far infected more than 2 crore people, claiming over 7 lakh lives worldwide. COVID-19 pandemic continues to batter the US and Brazil the most, with over 55 lakh cases of infection and 1.73 lakh fatalities. US still remains at the top in terms of adversities the pandemic has caused, followed by Brazil, which has over 33 lakh cases and death toll crossing over a lakh. Meanwhile, Mexico trails behind Brazil in terms of death toll, registering more than 56,000 deaths from the virus. Now, hundreds of Spaniards thronged Colón Square in Madrid protests against the mandatory use of face masks in every public space. The protest came after the health minister, Salvador Illa, announced new measures to curb the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. The demonstrators, holding placards of freedom, demanded the use of face masks to be voluntary. The protesters also put forward the demand to be allowed to choose whether they want to get the potential COVID-19 vaccine or not. So far, the COVID-19 cases in Spain have crossed 3,58,000 cases, with the death toll being at more than 28,000. In some other news now, the Somali forces on Sunday ended a 4-hour siege by Al-Shabaab terrorists at the beachfront elite hotel after they launched an assault at the facility following a car explosion. The last of the 4 Al-Shabaab terrorists who stormed into the beachfront hotel were killed by the forces. The death toll is presently 10, including a soldier and 2 officials with the information and the defense ministries. Dozens of others have also been injured. The police confirmed that 4 terrorists were involved in the attack. As many as over 200 people were rescued after the siege that ended at 10 o'clock at night. The attack began when a car bomb exploded at the gates of the elite hotel and the terrorists launched an assault inside the premises. Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attack, and Somali president has condemned the heinous and cowardly terror attack and expressed his condolences to the victims of the attack. He's also wished a speedy recovery to those injured. Now, Israel and the UAE have inaugurated direct telephone services between their countries following their agreement last week to normalize relations. The country's foreign ministers called each other on Sunday and exchanged greetings following the historic peace accord. Direct phone calls have been blocked in the Emirates since its founding in 1971. The Israeli foreign minister, who held a call with his Emirati counterpart, has tweeted, I quote, that saying that the two sides decided together on the establishment of a direct communication channel ahead of the signing of the normalization agreement between the two countries and to also meet soon. The two sides are expected to sign the accord in Washington in 3 weeks' time. Normalizing relations will include opening of the embassies on each other's territory. Until now, Israel has had no diplomatic relations with the Arab countries. Meanwhile, the UAE has also summoned Iran's chargé d'affaires on Sunday over threats made in response to peace deal with Israel. The official was handed a strongly worded memo over threatening statements made by Iranian President Hassan Rouhani regarding the deal.